Hey people, greetings from cyberspace if you're watching this video online off of the web. I'm making this because first of all, I've been following the Cicada 3301 puzzles and hints, clues, whatever, and also the Tangri 137 puzzles. They're very interesting. And I have a couple of theories, if you will, what's going on or what has gone on. Again, these are my opinions. And let me start off by saying that I've been researching, studying, asking the questions, and looking for the answers about my life, about my consciousness, why I think what I do, and you know, as time goes by, I process that information with what I've learned, what I've experienced, what I've seen, what I've heard, etc., etc., ad nauseum. Okay, so with this cicada puzzle, and there were the first few hints that had come out. I'm not sure what the hints were for the spear that DeFango found, okay? But I have a theory on that, and rather than, and it could be, it was supposed that it was the spear of destiny, and I think that could also fit in with what I originally thought was that, well, hey, it sounds like that's the spear of knowledge to me. That the Greek goddess Athena shook the spear at the serpent of ignorance, okay? And that's a lot of what these puzzles have been doing. We're trying to instigate and to promote people to start thinking again, to dig into information, find the clues, you know, sort through it, process it. That's a key word, process. You know, correlate it, you know, try to figure out how the pieces fit, how the dots connect, what have you. Again, like I said, I've been on on this journey of mine for over 40 years, okay? And this is what I'm coming up with. Okay, you've got the spear, okay? That represents, hey, you've got knowledge, you know, or if it's the spear of destiny, then maybe this quest, this puzzle or whatever, will lead to a destiny of sorts for the world, okay? So then you had a flood approaches. Flood was a Rosicrucian, Robert Flood, involved with the Rosicrucian movement. Okay, if you study and look into the history of the Rosicrucians, at first it was thought that it was just way back then in what, 1400s, that it was a publicity event created by a group of people that thought that the world needed a new Renaissance movement per se. You know, something to get people thinking and you know, creating a better world for themselves and everyone else. Okay, so that's the flood approaches. And then you had a cord of wood warms my eye, okay? Well, the way, my perception of that and the way that I thought about it and looked at solving what that clue meant, I came up with Woodstock on August 16th, the second day of Woodstock, August 16th, 1969, okay, the 16th of August, okay, 1 and 6 is 7, okay, there's a 7 for you, okay, the 7th band to go on stage on the 16th of August, 1969 at Woodstock was Creedence Clearwater Revival. Okay, think about the name of that, and it's spelt on their albums, and the band's name is CREEDENCE. Okay, well, look up the definition of credence. C-R-E, one E, D-E-N-C-E. Clear water, okay, we're clearing. We want to see clearly the truth, okay, the information with the flood that's coming, okay, that's a flood of information, a flood of truth, okay. The WikiLeaks, they've been flooding the network, the internet, whatever, with their releases, with all of this information that has been basically used against the general population that have been unaware of things, okay. So and then the seventh song that they played that day was called Proud Mary. Now, I don't remember which right now, but the people working on the Cicada they brought up some other references to Queen Mary, I think the second, not Bloody Mary, but who knows, it could have been Bloody Mary, but the second Mary, I think she was the Queen of Scotland, I believe. The one that a lot of people, they found clues to or figured out the clues to. Okay, well, a lot of the clues, the way the puzzles are made, or created, or what have you, the clues that are there, they've been created by people that have a lot of knowledge in the occult and even the esoteric information or knowledge, if you will, of these societies, fraternities, or what have you. And that's been a pretty much a background theme, if you will, of the puzzles, okay? So, and when you go back through history and all, okay, and I know DeFango said he wasn't a conspiracy theorist, and you know what? I am not a conspiracy theorist either. I am a conspiracy analyst, because a lot of these things are proven from what I've researched and read and listened to and whatever, that there were more than one person, more than two people involved in all of these situations, and they had conspired to defraud or deceive the general public, okay? So think about it. Okay, first of all, a lot of it is also ties in, or people like to tie it into religion, all the religion, the Abrahamic religions to be more specific. Okay, so if you go through and you do your research and you dig up enough and spend enough time contemplating on the information and all, well, all of the, I think there's 30-some major, or would be considered major religions within the world, besides the three Abrahamic religions, that they all have stories, if you will, lore, legends, mythology, whatever you would like to call it, and their accounts of these seeming to be supernatural people that have done some type of miraculous or supernatural acts, or if you will, and people were at all. Well, a lot of this, has been passed down by word of mouth, verbally or what have you. Just it's been passed down over time, over a long period of time. Okay, so anyway, and a lot of people, as far as the Christian religion, okay, it's been taught since they were written, the Bible, okay. Now you have the people or the writings that were done before, what was it, Constantine, the Council of Nicaea, and they chose what they wanted to include in the Bible, and then they threw all this other stuff out that they didn't feel that went along, supported, or agreed with what their ideals and their what they wanted to get across, how they wanted things to be. Okay, so you take all that into consideration. If you do the research, what have you. Okay, these people, and I'm not, I'm a very, really a spiritual person. I'm not by any means, I don't think, or at least most people, I don't think one would consider me an evil person or a person with other than noble and beneficial, benevolent reasons for thinking, researching, and doing the things that I do or attempt to do. So let's get past that. The Bible, okay? The Bible, people have been taught and people are teaching that it is a literal account of things that happened, without even considering that, okay, let's just take the Christian Bible, okay? It went from the Judea traditions, beliefs or whatever, and these writings got put together as the Old Testament and then the New Testament, and these things went from Judea, the territories that the tribes of Judea occupied, and then from there they moved into Greece, okay, and a lot of, now we all know that Greece, there were a lot of philosophers, there were scientists, mathematicians, what have you, and we all know of, or we should know of the Greek mythologies, with all the gods, and all that. Now, it's not to say that absolutely none of this was fact or happened physically or that were witnessed by people, but when the Greeks decided to put these stories together and what have you, okay, for instance, why do they call Jesus Jesus? Okay, because if supposedly this historical person, okay, was named Yeshua, okay, so why did they give him the name Jesus, and all of his apostles and these other people that are named in these characters that are named in the book, and they give them English names, okay, we can overlook that, but pretty much in modern times Jesus is Jesus, okay, but Jesus is not an Abrahamic name or an Arab name or what have you. It's not a Judaic or Jewish name, okay? Neither is Matthew, Mark, Peter, Paul, Mary, all these people, okay? But so anyway, the Greeks put together these stories, and they were people that created a lot of stories, mythologies, if you will, allegories, or what's the word? Well, anyway, but so they were put together, and they usually told of they had some type of lessons and about character and what people should aspire to, or to give them an idea of what they should not aspire to. Okay, so basically, and this is my opinion from the research that I've done, even though some of the accounts did happen, in what we would consider, or most people consider, would be reality, but a lot of the way it's written is allegorically, metaphorically. That's the word I was looking for earlier, just a minute ago. So they were metaphors. They were allegories to describe describe the ascension of the Spirit, a spiritual ascension. And if you go through and you read it from that perspective, sure, the language and the way it's written and through the interpretations, it's hard to, or it can be hard or difficult to comprehend exactly what's going on, other than what the garden variety priest, preacher, rabbi, blah, 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 whoever, although I would say probably more so the Christian congregation leaders. The rabbis, they go through a lot more, I think, training. It's more intensive. I think there's a lot more information that they correlate and pull into it and learn about, so they may have a little bit better understanding about that, about certain things. So anyway, where is all this leading to? Okay, so without the cicada puzzles and everything that's going on, and it's like all people say, oh, it's so convoluted and it's just going every which way, and there's just so much information and blah blah blah. How do we put it all together? Well, think about this. In today's world, what do we have? We have insurance. Have you ever read your insurance policy? Do you go through there and read line for line and understand everything that's being said there? Okay. What about the medical industry, or the doctors and whatever? There's a lot of information there. And let's say, the tax code, just in America alone, the tax code. It's a book, probably almost 2 feet thick, with all of the tax regulations and what you can and can't do, and what you better pay, what you have to pay, what you might be able to wiggle out of and finagle so that you don't have to pay, etc., etc. Okay? And what I'm getting at is all of these systems, the justice system, the legal system, okay? It's wordplay, okay? It's legalese speak, okay? And where did that come from? That came from, generally from England or Europe, and the monarchies, and they developed this system, and they had lawyers that, graduated, they were certified or what have you, or approved from the bar, which is a private association that is based in England, or London rather, city of London, what have you, which is the capital of world finance, or it may be losing that status, or in the process of losing that status now. But so anyway, so what I'm getting at is all of these systems are systems that have been developed within other systems, okay? And they are purposely presented and used in a way that the information is so convoluted, it's so intricate and so hard, difficult for the average layperson to understand, okay? So what do they have to do? You have to go to an insurance agent, which is, the insurance industry is very closely tied in to the legal industry, because that's what it is. It's an industry, okay? You have the legal and justice systems that are very well tied in, again, to the law, okay? You have statutory law, you have this kind of law, that kind of law, whatever. And they've gotten away purposely from natural law, okay? So, because natural law, and just like any of these other systems, it's not as difficult for the average person, the lay person, to understand. So that would mean that they wouldn't need necessarily to go hire a lawyer to go to court to represent them. Look up admiralty law, okay? Look at what's going on with that, okay? I mean, these people that developed these systems, they knew exactly what they were doing, and they know now exactly what they were doing or are doing. Okay, so what I'm getting at is a lot of this. Look at religion. You read the Bible and you're like, I don't want to understand any of this, anything this says. So what do? You go to whoever is leading the group, the congregation or whatever, and say, oh, explain it to me, please, When it's basically about the ascension of the Spirit, okay? You're looking to better yourself, okay? And how you react to what's happening in your life. And react to it or what have you, think about it in a way that helps your spirit, helps you, and helps the people around you, hopefully, to raise up, to give yourself a better quality of life, a better understanding of life, a better understanding of yourself, a better understanding of the people that you interact with and what have you. But over time, see, all that's gotten skewed, and they were doing it, say, back in this historical figure of Jesus. Okay, he went in there and he talked to the Pharisees or whatever, and he didn't like what they were doing. He didn't agree with it. And the difference between, people say, oh, Christianity, believe in Christ, he's the way for salvation or whatever. But they never, ever, because the people that they look to educate them on what was going on, they're educating them, like I said earlier, what the Bible says, and they're taking it literally, okay? Well, literally, it doesn't make a lot of sense when you have a talking snake that gives an apple to a couple, and they bite the apple. Okay, so that's an allegory. Okay, that's an allegory. That's metaphorically. That represents something. Okay, so thought I had a customer coming in. So anyway, so again, with religion, we go to someone to get help with understanding or being able to work something out. So for whatever the problem is. But in true reality, it's about how we think, how we understand. Okay, imagine how different it would be if these religions were teaching people how to understand the spirituality, the whatever it might be, the feelings, the emotions, the thoughts, the actions that people take, in reaction to something. But they're not teaching that. They're just saying, oh, everything's just fine. Yeah, life is hard. Just, try to do your best and get along. And, the salvation, it's not now. It's not while you're living. You have to die and not be of this place before Jesus is going to help you. Okay? And that's not true. I mean, if you continue to think that you have to suffer all this time until you die, I mean, how does anybody know that? How does anybody know what is going to happen when you stop breathing and are able to hear, taste, feel, whatever in this reality? Okay? So they don't. For the most part. There might be one or two special people that do, but for the most part, nobody does. So why are we continued to be, why is it continuing to be that people they don't want people thinking for themselves. They don't want new technologies or people that think of new technologies. And if it proves that somebody comes up with a good idea about something and it seems like it would really help, it's usually their ideas are taken, patented or whatever, and then thrown into a secret bin or whatever, so that only a certain group of people get it to take advantage of it. I've got to go wait on a customer. I'll be back. Had to take care of a customer there. So anyway, so a lot of this stuff, people, they don't want to, with the hustle and bustle of everyday life and the jobs and paying the bills and all that kind of stuff, they don't necessarily care to do the research, to understand something, because it just may not interest anybody. But really, I think if people realized how much that what they know and how they understand it affects or could or would affect their life, I think that a lot more people would. But again, we're so distracted. We're for the most part being kept in a lower conscious state, and it's just not. It's not beneficial for the people that have created these systems, okay? Because they want to maintain their status. They want to keep things pretty much the way they are, and I don't agree with that. I think that we could actually be existing in a much more benevolent and beneficial environment than what we now do. So anyway, I just wanted to run that past y'all, and just think about it a little bit. It can be mind-numbing and a daunting task to when you start out on your journey, but it is worth it, and it will be worth it, and not only for yourself, but for the people you care for, the people that you love, your progeny, your family and of the future, your kids, kids, just beneficial for everyone. We could get out there, and we've been so slow in getting the tech. There is more and more evidence coming up that there were societies or cultures or civilizations, okay, that had much more advanced technologies than what is available to the public at large right now. Medical, energy, spiritual, and these things, they for some reason they aren't very popular, or these technologies and these theories aren't very popular, and that has been for the most part, civilization has been conditioned, at least very much so in the Western countries. It's a conditioning that has happened because it allows for other groups of people with nefarious motivations or motives to remain and get to and remain in positions of power, influence, wealth, and what have you, and control. So it's very important that I feel that people consider, at least consider learning more about what's going on. So I'm not going to take any more time up right now. If I think of some other things, I'll come up with them, put them on YouTube maybe. But I just wanted to run all this information by, and there is a thing, a condition that is referred to as cognitive dissonance, and what that is basically is when somebody they've got their blinders on, they're automatons, they go to work, do their work, punch the clock when they come in, or sit down at the desk and whatever, but their time is accounted for at their job, their work, and then they do their allotted amount of time, and then they get off work, they eat, they want to entertain themselves, so a lot of people will watch television, which is let me say this, they'll watch television programming, okay? That's a key word, programming, with commercials. First of all, most of the programming is basically worthless at a certain point. Meanwhile, the advertisements come on about, every 6, 7 to 10 minutes, okay, that are trying to hope, that the companies are hoping that will convince you in some way or another that you either need a product, you would like to have a product, or whatever it is, to go out and to consume more and more and more, okay? And while people are consuming more and more and more, and basically it's your energy, the people's energy that has put that time in to earn that exchange medium, to exchange for these services and products that people think, oh, well, that's just normal. No. Think about it. Do we really need that? Do you need to slave away the majority of your life doing something that you absolutely despise, or that you'd rather be doing something else that would be more enjoyable for you, more beneficial for you? But see, we've been conditioned over time to think that that's normal. That's the way it's always been, so that's the way that we always have to do it. And who developed these systems? Who came up with these systems? And they added and modified and created this self-perpetuating, basically, cage that people keep themselves in. Not that they couldn't open the door and walk out or get out of that, but because of cognitive dissonance. Because cognitive dissonance is if something makes a person uncomfortable. Say, did you know that the reason they developed aspartame, it was an insecticide, and then they discovered that it was a sweet tasting product, so they thought that they could use that as an artificial sweetener and then put it into all of these food products and drink products, okay? Absolutely knowing that it would be harmful, or could be, and is harmful to the human body. But these large corporations, okay, for one, it was approved by the FDA, okay, Food and Drug Administration, okay. And then you had the people that wanted to push, when they found out they could use it as an artificial sweetener, you had the corporations, or corporation, Monsanto comes to mind, that said, hey, well, we can make some more money on this, and we can feed it to people. We can put it in people, in the substances, the foods and whatnot that people consume, and that possibly and more than likely will give them symptoms, make them more sickly, and then they'll have to go to the medical industry to see somebody that knows more than, that they think knows more than what themselves do, and that will generate even more money, currency, okay, energy, current, electricity, current, okay, money, currency. So that generates a currency system that stimulates the economy, and it goes bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's just these large conglomerations that are feeding off the energy of the people that don't know any better, that aren't aware, and they refuse to even consider that that may be the case. And therefore, you have cognitive dissonance, because cognitive dissonance is, it is a frame of mind that makes people uncomfortable to think of it in a way, because nobody wants nobody likes being screwed over, nobody likes being fooled, nobody likes being taken advantage of. Okay, so and there's a lot more to it than that, but people are like, oh, no way, I'm smarter than that. Hey, no way, that's not true, because if they thought it was true, then it would make their whole life, their education, their religious belief systems, the products that they believe in, the food that they like to eat, or what have you, and it makes all of it totally. They've been hoodwinked. People have just, they've been fooled, and everything that they've lived their lives, however many years it might have been, has not been hardly even close to the truth. Okay, and that's the problem. That's the situation that a lot of people that have done the research and have spent the time to learn more because they wanted to, because they felt that things, there must be some explanation for why things seem to be all screwed up. Okay, and everybody will say, you talk to anybody, I don't care who it is, and you say, man, I don't understand. The world's just a crazy place. It's just gotten so out of hand since I was, such and such growing up as a kid. Well, I mean, it's always been the same. There's just more people and there's more opportunities that these conglomerates, whatever they may be, have provided to keep people distracted, to keep them from thinking about, well, hey, why is this all screwed up? Why is this? And then there are, these situations and events and things that have happened that are explainable, and a lot of times it's people that didn't have an agenda per se to take advantage or to hurt somebody or whatever, but because of the systems within the systems within the systems and what have you, that it leads to that type of environment, and that's what happens. So yeah, I'm not going to drone on and on, but that's the basic gist of it. So thanks for watching. Everyone watching or that will watch this, I hope whether it be today when the video is posted or sometime in the future, I hope that you will have a awesomely fantastic day, a blessed day, and just keep on keeping on. Try to learn what you can, try to understand what you can, and Just try to spread some love around. You know, world love is when it comes down to it, love is what's going to make the world go round. So thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one. Catch you on the flip side.